Okay, right now I'd like to invite for the keynote speech our guest speaker, Dr. Akintoye Akindele. Dr. Akintoye Akindele is a lecturer, a nurturer, and builder of future minds at leading schools in Africa and globally. Like Dr. Bankole said, he's an investor, an entrepreneur, an author, a philanthropist, and he's the founder and chairman of Platform Capital, chairman of Unicorn Group, founder and CEO of DuPont Midstream. He's also the founder, CEO, and chairman of Atlantic International Refineries and Petrochemicals, and a whole lot of other companies that he has either founded or he is the chairman of. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me put your hands together for our guest speaker, Dr. Akintoye Akindele.
Good morning, everybody. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol. First, let me say a big thank you to the members of the university for inviting me to be here today. It's a very rare honor that I don't take for granted because the EDC is the premier institution championing the narrative of entrepreneurs and knowledge on the continent. It is my own wish, my own ambition, and I shared this earlier today, that we can take the EDC global. I believe the message, the work, the body of knowledge that the EDC not just represent, they've championed, should be heard, digested, imbibed from Cape Town to Cairo, from London to Johannesburg, and from Brazil itself to China. Everywhere people of color outside their domicile are struggling to understand how to network. I believe EDC has a role to play. So as Dr. Bankole says he's stepping on to bigger things, I want to ask him that the world should be his playground. No pressure, I know he's up to it. Matter of fact, I've just set them up for a program in London, February next year, to take EDC to the Africa Center, where they would then, without them asking or telling me to do it, I just put their name forward and I said they would do it. In a place where people of color need to hear from people that look like them, who have done it, just like your case studies. Case studies that EDC is writing or demonstrating is showing what we can do outside the standard case study templates we all read that most of us can't relate to, because the markets are different. So I want to congratulate EDC on excellent work done so far. Now, to the beautiful people here graduating, I think Dr. Bankole took it out of my mouth. They call it commencement in other places. But it doesn't really matter whether it's graduation or commencement, because life itself is about evolution. Birth and death are related. So one stage ends, one stage begins. You spend time here learning and being open to new ideas. I want to congratulate you, because even that itself is success. So please give yourself a round of applause for the excellent work you have done. Be wearing these fancy gowns. So I'm going to speak to you today about three things. Three things that I find important to me when I speak to entrepreneurs. First is entrepreneurship itself, what it means. Second is very, very important to me as well, which is dignity and love. Third is failure. And I'll wrap up with what I believe your mandate should be. So let's talk about entrepreneurship. When you read the profile in that book in your hand, or what the MC said about me, you probably think that I'm just successful. I'm the biggest failure I know. For every one positive outcome, maybe I've failed 100 times. So entrepreneurship, because it's an entrepreneurship program, entrepreneurship is tough. Entrepreneurship I like to say entrepreneurship is doing God's work. Yeah? You can't be paid enough for it. Getting a job is easier. You know, as an entrepreneur, people go home and sleep because you're awake. The month ends at the worst, right? When those salaries are due. Or the supplier frustrates you. Everybody's laughing, you can relate to it. You are struggling to even find out to get that month end. You get your NEPA bill. You get your diesel bill. You get the tax man say you have to pay this tax. You get everything. And you're wondering, why am I even doing this? I mean, there are easier ways of making a living. But you do it every day anyway. Most times you don't even know how. I'm yet to meet an entrepreneur who will tell you that every day is not a new lifetime. The curveball just come at you and you're dodging them every day. You are doing God's work. You are feeding families. People are going to school because of you. People are having dreams because of you. People are planning because of you. I incubate almost 1,000 entrepreneurs every year. And they all have different stories. I'm lucky enough to be at the table when I see them thinking about their dreams, their life, their ambitions. Entrepreneurship is for those that God has called. So for being an entrepreneur, God has called you. Congratulations on being called by God. For all the good you are doing that you will do on the continent, there are over 35 million SMEs in Nigeria. Over 350 million MSMEs on the continent. That's a ratio of 1 to 4. 1 to 4 African is an entrepreneur. 1 to 5 Nigerian is an entrepreneur. And you know the thing about entrepreneurship that I like most about Africa is that they're mostly women. It's represented here. Our women are our best thing on the continent. How come we don't know that? Our women have been ruling this world for over 10,000 of years. Not just in business or family. And for some reason, we don't celebrate, appreciate them enough. Every man here who has not supported the woman, you should cover your face and go and find one to support before December is over. Each man help one woman. Of that 35 million SMEs, less than 3 of them have access to capital like men do. Almost every woman here has to struggle thrice as a man. And men struggle a lot because we know people think that men's life is easy. It is the toughest thing to pay the bills and keep the family running. But women have to do that double. So we should celebrate our women. Now, just to go on before I give my 5 input into entrepreneurship that hopefully you take away with. I don't know if you can see the screen. It's not very bright there. But I'll share it with you. That picture was taken March 1, 1896. The only country on the continent never to have been colonized is Ethiopia. There was a defining moment in the war between the Italians and the Ethiopians. Now, the leader of the Ethiopian and also the army was Empress. I did my first one in entrepreneurship. The Empress was leader. How do we fight people that had more guns? They were more successful. They were bigger than us on our own country. As an entrepreneur, the first thing you must do is to play to your own advantage. Your uniqueness is very important. Do not try and copy other people's ideas. Be unique, be authentic, be yourself. Authenticity is important because your dream is yours alone. Another person's dream is somebody. Copy and paste is important, but if you cannot modify it to your own, to fit your own, you're going to fail. Leave other people's goals alone. Leave other people's life alone. Your own life is set for you. Leave other people's opinion alone. Their opinion, good or bad, is their opinion. Once you're a learning person, once you're an objective person, once you are true to yourself, no matter how bad the valleys get, the mountains will come. So, in that war, and there'll be casualties of going through your vision. So don't worry. Sometimes you step bankruptcy in the face. Sometimes you'll be ridiculed, you'll be laughed at, you make mistakes. Just stay the line. The end is overrated. The journey is more important. The journey, the people you bless along the way, leaves the impact. There's something called compounding in life. All those small things compound over time to be greatness. Do not worry. That war was fought for over 3 weeks only. What did the Empress do? She played to their advantage. If you see there, you see lions. I wish you can see this picture. You see lions. They fought with lions, bees, and other animals. Not guns. The Italians begged for their lives and ran away after 3 weeks. It's there, March 1, 1896. I hope you see. They didn't fight with other people. They fought their own war. And they won. When you play your own game, you fight your own war, you are controlling your own variables. Every successful entrepreneur that I know, they fought their own wars within all the wars going on. Sometimes you get casualties. Sometimes you doubt yourself. Sometimes you believe it's almost impossible. Even sometimes when the results don't look positive. Once you've gone inside, you've reviewed it, you've followed your assumptions, you've tested it, you realize that these assumptions are not misplaced. And when they're misplaced, you change, you pivot. I'm a firm believer in pivoting, not changing. Because in the first place, you had your assumptions. You've tested them. Once they are tested, and you find out what is working, what is not working, how do I adapt to my reality? You pivot. Every entrepreneur must pivot along the way because the macros, the micros, the ecosystem will keep changing. The first rule of entrepreneurship for you for success is uniqueness. Second is pivoting. Life happens. The day you write your business plan is the day that business plan is dead. Because the following day things have changed. Don't be a slave to your business plan. Be a slave to your goals, to your values. Be a slave to your own goals, to your own values, and to the reason why you are doing this in the first place. My third point, which is probably my most important point for entrepreneurs, is love. Love is a beautiful thing. If you're not in love with what you do, get out. Nothing, not money. Some people are so poor, all they have is money. They're so poor, they have money. Entrepreneurs don't exist for money. Money is an outcome of the value you are creating. If there is no value for you to create, money will not come. Money is very, very attracted to value. If money comes short term, run away because that money will not stay. If value is there, money will always come. So focus on value. Focus on value though, you must love what you do. You must love who you work with. You must love yourself. Love is extremely important. The love of your vision, of your passion. You must be obsessed with making a difference. Every entrepreneur here, find what you love doing. Stay at it. Because on those dark days, when everything looks like it's not working, what keeps you going is love. You rather be in love than be miserable collecting money. Because sometimes the thing that life tests you most with is what you want the most. But the universe wants you to demonstrate that you want it that bad. What are you willing to give up for it? Almost everybody here will give anything up for love. For as long as you love it, you want it, the universe will compensate you. It is written. Do not worry. And it's not time dependent. Don't pattern yourself whether you get success in day 1 or day 10 or year 10. Or my colleagues start their business, very successful. Forget your friend. Celebrate your own wins with them. Be happy for them. But your own is coming. Your own will come if you stay at it. For everything you are about to do, if you don't love it, it will not work. In fact, you will not attract people working with you. They will not even stay with you. In my career, I failed over 1,000 times. I'm failing right now. Some things are working, some are not working. I came back yesterday for this because I love doing this. I love seeing people of God doing great things. What is more important than that? It can't be chasing an invoice. It can't be writing a proposal. Staying around people like you who are changing the narrative of our country, our continent, is more valuable than anything. And you all look so lovely anyway. So I've even gotten the better side of coming here. For me, the love of what I do drives me every day. So even when people are laughing at me and saying, he's broke, I laugh. He's rich, I laugh. I don't believe when people say good things about me. So when they say bad, I don't believe it. That doesn't matter. Your opinions are that. My opinion about myself is the most important thing. So shall it be for you. You will succeed if you stay at it long enough, if you're authentic, if you pivot, and if you love what you do. Just be open-minded to knowing that the work you're doing is important and you love it. So entrepreneurship, these are things, and nothing you've learned in class is wasted. Education and knowledge are different though. Please, now that you have an education, seek knowledge. Education is important, but it's a foundation for knowledge. Knowledge happens on the streets. Knowledge happens when you pivot it. Do not cut and paste case studies. Take out from it the learning points. Apply it to yourself and unleash and pivot. Knowledge happens on the street. Do not think because you're not going to Lagos Business School and EDC, you are better than the person that did not come. No. Even your security guy will teach you a few things. A while ago, I had an investment in a company. And I realized that for some reason their costs would not just go down. So I started looking at all the cost lines, energy costs, and they were saying diesel. Because diesel is expensive, it makes sense to me. But it just didn't make sense that the diesel consumption as a factor of revenue was that high. So one day I said, I'll go to the office on the Saturday when they deliver diesel. So I'll sit by the reception, by the security man. I wore my casual clothes, I sat down. It was in the Colano, that I had the Colano from him. I said, when did they bring diesel? The guy said, very soon they'll bring diesel. So when they were coming in, they weighed in the diesel. So how much was coming in, we saw it. And the guy was going out again. So when I went to go and check the tank, it was exactly what they said they would deliver. It didn't make sense to me. So you are not lying to me. So I sat down again with that guy. Following day, the following weekend. The guy said, what are you looking for here? I said, this doesn't make sense. And I started laughing, sir. They bring the tank half empty, half full. So what they discharge is always just half. That's what do you mean? Said when the guy brings that thing you are saying, that diesel is not full. It's only half the discharge. So yes, a full tank comes in, a half tank goes out. But the tank itself has been rigged to have a full calibration. So they got put a weighing machine when they are going to weigh it as well. I started weighing it. This is what the security man taught me. I saved 50% of my cost and got product that year, but because I did not assume that what could the security man teach me. Knowledge is not education. The things that people on the street learn that will help your business, please talk to everybody. Listen to every conversation. Whether you agree or not, be open-minded about it. The worst case is that you will not have smile and say thank you and you go your way. But only those that listen can learn. Please be open-minded. Second thing I want to talk to you about is failure. That thing called failure that we're all afraid of is an impossible word. It doesn't exist. Failure is an impossibility. As you are living here, let me assure you, you cannot fail unless you quit. Failure is not possible. I'll give you 2 examples. Sometimes in death, you succeed. Van Gogh, one of the greatest artists, had to die to succeed. When he was alive, his painting could not sell. In fact, the only ever painting he sold was to his sister-in-law for a peanut. People said it was a failure so much. He felt a failure so much, he killed himself. Imagine how you let other people define your own success goals. He killed himself for being a failure because people said he was failing, he could not sell anything. So he killed himself. 100 years after he dies, his artworks are selling for $40-50 million. In death, he was successful. For as long as there is life, you will succeed. Your works, entrepreneurs work, live after them. So do not judge your work by your current outcomes. Some people will be succeeding over time because what you have done, you live on. You are all foundation builders in a world that's still millions of years to go. Galileo Galilei was a successful inventor. People said, he didn't say the world was round, he said it was flat, he was killed. 500 years after, the Catholic Church apologized for killing him because it was right. The Wright brothers, they didn't have education, they didn't study engineering. They said we could fly. People said it was impossible. Even the biggest investor of that time, Edison, said it's not possible. They tried 8-9 times, they crashed. Eventually they did. And they do fly. My point to you is, entrepreneur's work is not about your lifetime. You are laying a foundation for humanity to benefit over time. You all count. Every single one of you. Failure is an impossibility. For as long as you keep trying, you get up every day, you go after it. Failing is different from failure. Failing, though, means that you are progressing. So when things don't work, failing is the outcome unexpected. It's an outcome. So when you try something, it does not go as you want. You have not failed. You have progressed from point A to point B, but it's not what you want. So you try again. Failing is progressing. There can never be any success without failing. There can never be any success without failing. Failing is preparing you for succeeding. And when you succeed at something, don't now assume that you'll succeed again. You're going to fail. Because each attempt is a new beginning. So when something works for you, don't celebrate it. Go back quickly and say, this new journey is different from that last one. Every day, know that you cannot fail. It may be tight, it may be tough, you may be liquid, you may have lost everything, you may be without yourself. You only need to give up to fail. Once you don't give up, I assure you, in this lifetime or the next or after you, you will succeed. And the reason why you've been called, because the God that called you does not fail. You need to know that. You matter. And even if you don't even believe in God, do you imagine that the universe that was created for the people you are paying and you are blessing, that there is no reward for good? It pays itself. So failure is impossible. Get that out of the dictionary. Failing can happen. And when you fail, enjoy your failing. Go out, have a drink, do a pity party. Do a pity party. You know why? You must trick your brain to going forward. When things don't work, that's what I do. Every day when things don't work, I'll go and do a nice drink, I'll watch a movie, I'll do a pity party, I'll laugh at myself well. So when you're laughing at me, it doesn't matter, but I laughed at myself. Failing, you then progress to say, what next? It's in that what next. People will tell you, it will not work. You know, what if it works? You are doing God's work. The earth itself, scientifically, was a one time in a 4.6 billion attempts that a stone started breathing, called the atom. If the earth happened after tried that 4.6 billion times, who am I more mortal not to try? I'll keep trying. And somehow, you always keep finding a way to go on. So please, do not live here with failure in mind. Scratch it. You cannot fail. And the last one for me, and I'll let you guys contribute to your event. It is beyond you. It is about your ecosystem, universe. Your mandate is to be your brother's keepers. Your mandate is to be your brother's keepers. You see, our challenge in Africa today and Nigeria is that all of us are in silos. Me and my family alone. Who is your family actually? Your kids? They're not yours. You spend less than a third of their time with them. They go to school, they watch TV, they're not your kids. So they are working for those people that you don't know, they're working for strangers. Know who your kids are? People you work with every day. Other people's kids that you look after. Those are your kids. See, until we go back to being our brother's keepers in Africa and Nigeria, we miss the point. Stacking up a lot of cash in the account for your kids is a way. Go and check. How have we done with generational transfer of wealth? They failed. You can't keep us, not yours. It's God's money. It not belongs to God. It will go back to God eventually. And why do you worry so much about what happens when you are dead with your kids? Worry about what you do with them when they are alive. What life you teach them. Being your brother's keeper is fundamental to you succeeding. Because you will reap what you did not sow. If you reap what you have sown, you have missed it in life. If I give you A to get B back, I can calculate that return. But if you find grace on the way, that's what you call reaping when you did so. And grace only happens when you have sown when you didn't reap. Other people, blessings that come back to you. By being your brother's keeper, by helping your co-entrepreneur, by helping your colleagues, by doing more than your mandate, by giving back to EDC. You've all benefited from this. A lot of you will go back and not look back. You must give back to EDC. Other people can enjoy this. You must give back. You must endow some students. You must think about how do we ensure intergenerational continuity in Nigeria. You must sponsor a child. Our average budget for education in Nigeria today is $18 per child. How compared to OECD of $40,000? How can we compete? EDC is not cheap. LBS is not cheap. Sponsor one child to LBS every year. Go to primary schools. There are 200 of them sitting in a class. Sponsor a school. Adopt a school. Give them boards. Give them chairs. Give them ceiling fans. Basic thing. Adopt a child. We found out in our research by just buying uniform and sandals, enrollment went up by 100% in one school. Do you know the dignity of not having uniform and slippers to go to school? They have dignity. It's a fundamental human right. Adopt a child. We found out young girls in other areas, indigent students, did not go to school because they didn't have period materials. Some are using rags and leaves for their period. By giving them reusable pads, they went to school. Do beyond yourself. Leave your kids, take care of them, but the excess, give back to society that gave you this. Because when you sow, when you do a trade with God, when you do a trade with the universe, it pays you back 100 times. My mandate to all of you as you live here is decide that you will not just be a human being, you'll be a change agent. And you'll be, through you, other people will bless and glorify his name. I congratulate all of you again, and I wish you all the best in the future. If you need any investment advice, our cards are here. We're open to entrepreneurs. We support you. But most importantly, I thank all of you for deciding to be better, thereby progressing. Now, you go ahead and help others progress. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, Dr. Akintoye Akindele. That was very inspiring and very touching as well. Thank you very much, sir.